Okay. So, hmm. Hello.
Hello, buddy.
Hello. I might have to ask you to jump on, watch my stream and see if you can hear yourself, because
All right, yeah.
I don't
Have a
really
look.
know how to do it otherwise. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I have it set up differently, we'll see. How are you, mate? Anyway, you alright?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Good. It's
Good.
the weekend.
A long 4-day week for me, I'll tell you that. Yeah,
Ah, hey.
alas, it is the weekend. Hmm. I think we should be okay. Voice chat then, by the looks of it. OBS isn't flipping out, which is nice.
Cool. That sounds good. Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. Where the hell are you? I can't even see you.
Well, I don't know. Can't help
Are
you.
you are you the King Matt Superior or just King Matt Superior?
King, yeah, K.
Yeah. Why are you not? It's sorted alphabetically. Why are you not?
Ah, I'm hidden.
Oh no, there you are. You're at the top because you're live. That's it.
Ah,
That's what. There you go. Cool.
you might not have been subscribed for a second there.
Nah, nah, nah,
Punishable
nah.
offence.
Don't worry about that, mate. No, I've got the subscription sorted alphabetically, but lives people who are
Yeah,
live are pulled to the top. So,
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
all right, hang on then. So let me listen to see what's going
As
on.
long as you can hear yourself, because I've got a headset and I want to be able to hear you through the headset, but then I think sometimes it then doesn't show it on the disc on the OBS. I think so.
Yep, yeah, yeah, coming through.
Perfect. That's
Spot
what we
on.
want
Good
then.
job, mate. Good
Well,
job.
as long as I can. Oh, nice. Oh no! Just realised I've had a pot open for about a day. Let's hope it's saved.
You've had a what, sorry?
uh, Paint pot open
Ah, ah.
from since I last painted, which, well, it wasn't yesterday. So, uh,
I don't think I painted since last Friday.
I
Find
mean,
it shocker.
I think I painted midweek for like. I think I when was it? I can't remember now. I think I came up here to paint and I had 3 models sat in front of me, and I chucked a bit of paint on them and then just watched YouTube.
Yeah,
So I didn't
that's all I've
actually
done
do
all
any
week.
painting. I tried. What are you currently working on, mate?
I'm back on the Napoleonics. Need to finish this French battalion that I've been
Or
saying I need to finish for months, but
I've
it's
still
just yeah,
I've still
I'm
got
just sitting
some.
there looking at it. I just can't
Yeah,
face it.
I kind of had that for like 2 years. Well, I don't know actually. Maybe like 2 years of my British Napoleonics. It's just kind of like,
Yeah,
oh, I need to get on and do that. But because it's kind of a bit more fiddly detail, I've just completely gone off it. So maybe one day I'll. I mean, saying that, I think when we did our last stream with Stug, I picked up my 95th rifles and put them in front of me. Admittedly,
oh,
I moved them away again at the end of the stream, but
it was just it's the closest they've been, is it?
yeah, it's the closest they've been to me. Closest to they've been to a paintbrush in a good few years. So,
Nice.
um, no,
What are you painting then?
well, um, I'm my
You're
Romans.
still the Romans. Yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I've got my auxiliary force in front of me primed, but I'm just kind of doing some stuff. I don't know if you're watching the stream, but I'm doing some of my special characters. So I kind of got like I don't know what they call them. So I got a musician. Is it Aquifilla and Signifera? I don't know. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Sounds about right. It
if
sounds
it's
Latin, doesn't it?
yeah, if it sounds right, it probably is. So yeah, but I'm trying to
That's the banner bearer, isn't it? The standard
yeah.
bearer.
So you kind of got I guess the Legion banner bearer, and then the chap holding the eagle. Which I guess the eagle, yeah, each legion gets given an eagle, doesn't it? I think.
Yep, I think that's right.
And then it's very bad if you lose your eagle. So yeah, I'm just painting them up because ideally, once those three have been painted, then I've kind of completed my legionary box. So yeah, and it's kind of I know like these guys have got lion pelts, so I've never painted lion pelts before, so I thought it'd be quite interesting to give it a go. Yeah.
Are you gonna do the monthly? Are you gonna use that? Are you doing the monthly challenge, or if
I
you
am,
are, I mean,
yeah.
you could do
Yeah, I've
auxiliary as well.
so I've got some auxiliary archers from Aventine. We spoke the other day about it.
Yeah.
So I've ordered them now.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was kind of expecting them maybe today, but they haven't turned up. So I'm hoping it's going to be tomorrow now. I
They're
just
normally
ordered.
not too.
Yeah, well, I mean they're pretty good.
It's Ireland, isn't it? They're from Ireland, I think.
I don't know to be honest, but they
I think
kind of
they're
processed the order and dispatched it like fairly quick, which I can't
right.
complain about. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I hope I'll get them tomorrow, and then yeah, I'll probably paint them straight away rather than my other auxiliary infantry because I like kind of new sculpts.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing those because I do need some for my.
Yeah, you said you were going to order. Well, you're planning on ordering at some point, didn't you? So
Yeah, yeah, and I need some. I want some auxiliary cavalry as well.
I bought a sprue of the Victrix auxiliary cavalry, but like the proportions look really weird.
Right.
The riders look huge. Odd.
That's a shame.
Yeah, in comparison to the horses, they look quite big, and then you compare them to actual Victrix auxiliary infantry, and the cavalry bodies are a lot bigger. But then I bought a sprue on eBay, so for all I know, I could have bought some weird wacky sprue that's not actually
Chinese.
Victrix. Yeah, Chinese Victrix. I don't know. So
Because the Gallic cavalry were alright, weren't they? That you did.
yeah, they were really nice, I must admit. Well, I mean, I've got the Gaelic cavalry as an option anyway, so I don't really need to. I bought a couple of I just bought
That's
a
a fair
sprue of
point.
auxiliary cav as a bit of fun. So yeah, probably won't even use them anyway. What I have done, I did the other day because I think I prefer building miniatures and painting them currently. I built up a load of Normans, so I'm trying to show it on the stream, but my camera's too far away from my light, so I can't really show anything up close to the camera because it's in a dark spot. Yeah, I built up like.
What Normans have you got?
So well, I assume my mate gave them to me. I think they're Conquest Games Normans, foot infantry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I built up 16 kind of spearmen, 4 two-handed axemen, and then 4 kind of chainmail chaps. So I'm going to use them for Saga, hopefully. As I've got a Northern army already, but I quite like the look of the foot infantry. I just didn't want to ever really buy a kit, so I got kind of given some free stuff, so why not? Right.
What's your Norman army for? What rule set?
Saga. So Saga Age
Using
of
that as
Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's it. Yeah, I purely built that army around Saga Age of Vikings, so I don't think it's big enough really to. Yeah, I don't think it's big enough to use in other systems. So we'll see.
Yeah. Still nice. I do like I think we talked about Saga last week actually. I'm quite tempted by that.
I'm really excited for Age of Hannibal. I must admit, the more I see of it, the more I like it. So that'll be nice to get into.
Nice. Alright,
But,
cool.
yeah.
I haven't really checked it out yet. I'll have a look.
So yeah, Age of Hannibal is just kind of like
I'm keen
car.
just to do anything. Go on, mate.
I was just gonna say, yeah, Age of Hannibal is kind of like Carthage and Republican Romans and that sort of stuff. So, um, yeah, it'd be quite good fun. I like that sort of era. So.
I was gonna say I'm keen to just start any projects that aren't massive. Just need
Well,
to
yeah.
do some skirmishy sort of level stuff at the minute.
That's kind of why I started like a Infinity Force, which is, I mean, admittedly it's sci-fi. But it was kind of like
Yeah.
15 miniatures or so, and you're probably good, which was quite cool.
I've got some Infinity. I've got a Yu Chang Force and
Mm.
the Hack Islam as well from the starter box.
Oh, nice, yeah.
You've probably, I think you have spoken to him, Daryl, Northern Realms.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's gonna set you up with tabletop simulator stuff. He actually,
Yeah.
I think he was like a rep for Infinity. Like he
Really?
would run stuff locally and that for people.
Nice. I mean, yeah, I need to message him again because we were like, oh, we should definitely play some. But like, obviously, we both got quite small children, babies. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I think he messaged me like, oh mate, I've got a 7-month-old, so it's gonna have to be after this time. And I was like, that's alright, I've got a 14-month-old, so I'm in the same boat as you, bud. But yeah, we haven't really got around to doing it, to be honest. Which I probably, but then at the moment, I find myself if I'm in my games room, I'm painting rather than getting on the computer. So I probably ought to make the effort.
What were you gonna play? Were you gonna play Infinity or were you gonna play the Song of Ice and Fire?
Infinity, yeah. Who said I'm play some Infinity on tabletop?
Yeah, he's good. Like he knows his stuff.
I mean, yeah, I've never played it, and like I've spent quite a few times. Like I got a couple of mates, and we're all kind of new to it, like tabletop gaming in general. So like we buy a rule set, we're like, oh, let's play it, but it's so handy knowing someone who knows the game in and out, where you can literally like, oh, let's play a game because I'm going to learn so much more from you playing a game with me than I am fumbling around the rules with my teammates trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
I kind of learned that lesson. There's a real nice guy, my games club, and he's kind of taught me quite a few rule sets now. Well, I say taught, but I played a few games with him, and it's just like his knowledge of just playing and playing and playing just outweighs any hours spent of me just looking at a rule book trying to figure it out. So
yeah, it's a good way to learn. So what force did you pick for Infinity?
I got a Nomads Force.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
I did do a little video on it, but yeah, I just kind of I picked up like 90 quid's worth on eBay for like £30.
Nice.
And I just picked them up, and I thought, yeah, I guess play it and see what I think really. So yeah, I think I just got over 300 points.
Yep, that's alright. That's good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
So, because I think it was one of the box sets, like the starter box sets. I picked up one of them, and then it had some miniatures as well added to it. So.
I think the Nomads, was it like Ice Storm or something like that?
Yeah,
or...
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Like the Nomad starter set. Yeah. So I picked that up, and then like obviously the chap probably bought that starter set, and then picked up a few other miniatures to build a force, and then gave up. So I kind of bought it, stripped the paint, and then painted them up.
Did you get the cardboard buildings and stuff like that as well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I got some of the cardboard like shipping containers. That came
That's
with.
it, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get the cardboard buildings that came with the set because I kind of like obviously I bought the force from that set, and then he gave me actual rules. Yeah, Operation Ice Storm. In fact, the rules are right behind me. Yeah, so I got the rule set, the cardboard buildings, dice, and the tokens. So yeah, I kind of. But my two mates have bought. Is it Yujing? Whatever.
Yeah.
They bought that. So one of them's going for kind of like Space Samurai, and the other one is going for, I guess, just I don't know the forces too well. So, but yeah, they're both Yujing, so they're quite cool. I just really like the terrain setup on Infinity. I really like the line of sight blocking and stuff like that. I think that's just a really interesting mechanic. So
Yeah, it's class in the I can't remember what it's called, AROs or something, where yeah, you can,
yeah,
if you pop out, you can take shots at people running across open ground and
yeah.
that.
So it's almost like everyone's kind of permanently on Overwatch. You
Yeah,
know, yeah,
yeah.
which I think is really cool. I like more mechanics to games rather than moving miniatures and rolling dice. I like the sort of the tactical side of it. Like in
All right, well,
yeah,
you love Infinity then, mate. You love it.
yeah, it's kind of like it's all like line of sight, and it almost looks like line of sight and board control sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Yeah,
So, I mean, I've got the army painted up now, so it's just a matter of getting time to go play. And that will be.
yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
What are you basing your Napoleonic French off then, or is you just kind of building French, or have you kind of based them around a certain kind of
I'm doing
campaign?
Waterloo. I'm
Nice.
doing that generic battle that everyone's
Mm.
doing.
So, what have you currently got for your French then? You got quite a big French force.
No, I only started a few months ago in lockdown.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people who like to have both sides. Like, so if people come
Okay.
around, but that's quite difficult in a Napoleonic scale, isn't it?
Mm.
Um, so I'm on Battalion 3,
I mean, I
which is
don't.
not. I need to just keep going. You need to plod on, don't you?
I don't know really. I think it's safe to say I don't know anything about Napoleonics. Um, I think yeah, I don't know.
I think it's a great period.
I think I got into. I really like ACW, but I imagine it's the same sort of. I've really got into that and I found it interesting, but it's the same sort of thing as for Napoleonics. But
Everyone's blue in ACW, though, aren't they? Everyone's got the blue uniform on.
no, not necessarily. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like anything. I haven't really spent time looking at Napoleon. I haven't really been drawn in by Napoleonics, so I haven't spent time looking at Napoleonics. But I imagine it's
Yeah,
kind of something once you spend a bit of time looking at, you think actually, you know, this is quite cool.
I think there's just so much going on, and there's so much variety, and
Mm.
I don't know. It just feels like the classic sort of cavalry, infantry, sort of artillery pieces, and
I think
big battles.
I think I've said this before, but I'm never one for like I don't know what it is, but I've never really been overly interested in the mass cavalry charges and the mass usage of cavalry. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird saying it, but I think I'm not that interested in the whole like mass cavalry kind of cause it. I don't
Yeah,
know. I can't explain it. But then that's why I quite like the ACW because they start to phase out that sort of cavalry charges. They start to use cavalry as mounted skirmishers and stuff, or riflemen, or whatever. Um, I think maybe that's why I'm a bit more drawn to that sort of era rather than Napoleonics because I quite like the whole. I like the infantry line battles which Napoleonics bring, but I think maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just something about the cavalry. It just doesn't really float my boat. Maybe it's because
oh, the French cavalry is just the greatest thing ever, really.
I think I just don't like painting cav, and therefore I hate cav for it. Probably unfair on the cavalry, but I just don't like it now. So I don't know. It's a weird one, but yeah, I think
I'm doing 18 mil, so the horses aren't too bad at 18 mil scale. You can.
I don't mind painting cav at 6 mil. I'll tell you, and that's not
Yeah.
too bad. Even then, actually, it was a bit like, oh, I don't like doing this. I think it's just the colours. I think I've done quite a few cav now, and I've never been so convinced on the horse colours I've chosen. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, there is a knack, like there is.
I guess it's kind of finding your horse palette and then sticking with those colours. I know a lot of people are quite into the contrast paints.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen like Seventh Son does quite a bit, doesn't he? Martin
Mm.
does. I haven't really got. I'm more of a Vallejo sort of person, so I haven't really picked up a lot of the.
I'm more of a Citadel sort of chap, but yeah, I haven't really gone into the contrast. I've got the Apothecary White, which I've used on quite a few things. I used it on my Nomads.
Yeah.
And then I got a few.
You got the Gilliman's Flesh or whatever. I have got that one. That's quite good.
No, that's like the one I was gonna get it because I saw someone using it on gold and doing gold.
Yeah, that's good.
Actually, no, I do have Goodman's Flesh. I definitely do because yeah, I do. I don't know why I said I didn't.
I did all my ancient Britons with that.
I mean,
It speeds it up like.
I think Goodman's Flesh is gonna be the way I do Flesh from now on. I don't know where I've got it. So yeah, I used it on my Nomads, and I really like it. I really like it. But I kind of stuck with my ancients the way I'm doing my Romans. Like I did my Republican Romans in kind of a more of a basic scheme,
Yeah.
and then I did my Gaelic Cav for my Republican Romans. But then I've based my Imperial Romans off the fact that I can use my Republican Cav. So therefore, I'm trying to tie all the paint schemes to be the same. So it's kind of
Yeah.
it's not like my Republican Cav are going to be used in my Imperial Romans and then look a bit weird because their paint scheme's completely garbage compared to the Imperial Romans. So
Yeah, you want them to be able to fit in.
yeah, so it's kind of like, and because of that, I've gone. My current flesh paint style is Cadian flesh tone from GW, and then I just hit it with a flesh shade wash, and
Yeah.
leave it at that. I have layered some of my commanders with a different flesh, but apart from that, yeah, all my infantry are just kind of real bog standard fleshy colour.
That's alright. Get it on the table, isn't it? That's good.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if I were to start a whole new army, I would use Gilliman's. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, Gilliman's is awesome. They look really nice. It's surprising how much it does for the coverage and stuff.
How much? What? How much coverage, or how much you get out?
How much it just improves it. It just looks awesome. Like kind of how it layers and it has the highlights and stuff like that. It looks awesome. Right.
It's good for like one pass, isn't it? Like just slap it on.
Exactly, and I think it looks really nice because I just used it on a plain white base rather than a GW kind of recommended primer. I just used a white primer. It worked well, I think. Right, that's it. I'm gonna have to.
I added like a slight cream color, I think.
A cream. Did you say?
Well, I don't know what the GW equivalent is, but I'm sure they've got like a primer or a base that they put on before Gilliman's Fresh, and it's like a slightly off-white, creamy sort of color.
So that's what I used originally. Oh, it's Wraithbone. That's it. Wraithbone.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like
Wraithbone.
a creamy white. Yeah. Because then they've got Greyseer, which is a grey white. I use the Wraithbone, and I don't like the Wraithbone paint. I just found it was really watery.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I just use like a bog standard white primer. Right, I'm gonna actually paint something now because I've been talking for 25 minutes. I'm gonna have to tell Millers off when he comes on now because he was all up for the stream and he didn't turn up.
Shocking.
Poor dedication.
He's not sent some questions as well. He normally sends questions.
Yeah.
He's the question man.
Well, he normally turns up like 5 minutes before I end my stream, and then I end up like staying like around for another 25-30 minutes. The way my streams go is I'll be on my own for 50 minutes, and I'll be talking to myself, and I'm like, right, I'm going to end the stream in 10 minutes, and then Millers will turn up, and I'll be like, oh. So then sat chatting for another half an hour. I mean, I don't mind it, but it's nice having people in the stream because then you can talk to them the whole time rather than just kind of talking to yourself like a madman.
Yeah. I'd find that really difficult. I don't think I would be able to keep talking.
I mean, I kind of use it as an excuse for a video, so I just kind of chat. But I'll say, unless you have Stug muted, to the stream, then you can chat away all you like. I think it was like you and I think it was Miller's. I was like, yeah, mate. Like, I thought you were talking to yourself for half an hour. I was like, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the other side.
Yeah.
I honestly thought you were just chatting away.
I must have sounded
But
like
you
a
were
lunatic.
yeah, we answering questions that weren't there, you know.
God, he's really going into this solo stream. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I learned now. I've learned how
No,
to
I think
set up.
I, it's I think it's quite brave, like putting yourself out, like.
I more or less do it because I'm kind of bored, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll try do some painting. But like when you get people on the stream that start talking to you, it does make it enjoyable, and you can kind of, I don't know, it helps me paint. I find if I rather
Yeah.
than just being on my own, a bit bored, trying to find something on YouTube to watch. Then yeah, it's nice to have a chat with people. But then also the downside is I don't really watch a lot of YouTube, and I just get behind on watching videos.
Yeah, I always feel bad that I'm not commenting or
Mm.
talking to people.
Well, so not like during the lockdown, like I wasn't working, I was furloughed, so I could just sit there and trawl through videos, comment on everything, like, oh, really nice work. And now, I probably, I don't know, comment like once a day on a video, if that. And like, I feel terrible now. Also, I just used to watch a lot of YouTube during work hours, and now I'm not, because it's so busy. I have a feeling Stug's gonna message me at like 10 o'clock and, oh, you ready for our stream then? I don't know. Normally it's like
I'm not.
10 till 12, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I want sleep.
Getting too old for that. Like,
Mm.
he hasn't got kids. He doesn't understand.
Well, I've changed it now, but like my missus, well, we kind of had a rule of she would wake up when she's a teacher, so she's been off during school holidays, and so she would wake up with the daughter every day during the week, and then I'd wake up in the get up with her in the weekends, which was fine, but also
Yeah.
kind of meant I never had a lie-in, which is sucks. But then yeah, it meant like I'd do a 12 half 12 stream on a Friday night, and then have to be up at probably like 5 o'clock on the Saturday because daughter decided to wake up really early. Like,
They know.
yeah, I know.
They know.
But then today, so my missus now gone back to work, so we've kind of said, okay, we'll just alternate days we wake up. And today was my wake up day with the daughter, and she just stayed in bed. So we had to actually physically go wake her up as we were leaving, saying, like, come on, we got to go now. So it was nice. I got a line.
Yeah. That's always the best.
Mm.
Yeah, we just take it in turns.
Yeah, we tried to set up a system, but it causes arguments and bickering. So really, I think take it in turns is the only. So you got kids, have you, or a kid, multiple?
Yeah, we've got. I've got two. I've got a 4-year-old who just started school this week,
Ooh.
and we've got a 18 months. He's almost 2.
Oh, nice.
A 2-year-old little young lad.
How's little one in school getting on?
Yeah, she loves it. Absolutely loves
nice.
it.
That's
She's
good.
yeah. I don't think I didn't really have any worries. She's quite confident in that sort of stuff. So
Awesome. Yeah, I imagine it's as in mine's going on to 15 months now, so we've got a while yet. But like, she basically just goes to her grandparents 3 days a week now. For whilst my missus works part time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we've just kind of got to leave her for 3 days with her grandparents, which luckily she's a pretty good baby, so she loves it and happy. But I'm not looking forward to school stuff or. I guess
the best bit's not having to pay for nursery for us. Like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I don't know when we're gonna get her to go to nursery. I guess at 3, I think. No, so that'll be interesting. I think we're lucky that my missus' parents are retired, so we kind of can fall back
Yeah,
on
that
them.
worked out quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm giving Miller some grief. Hopefully he'll get himself on shortly.
He's waiting for the stream about to end. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He does just sit there in the background watching, and then as the stream's about to end, he'll pop up and say, "Hello, mate." You all right?" Nah, bastard. Miller's done it again. I probably need to make more of like a an effort to let people know I'm streaming. So I always kind of get on a stream and then no one watches, and I'm like, oh, probably should ought to let people know. Not that,
Yeah, I think the way Boots Dom does it, sets a reminder or whatever, I suppose. But then you're committing yourself to.
yeah. My streams tend to be kind of when I can be bothered.
Yeah.
So it goes from like every night to once a week or no times a week.
That paint's not going too bad. I'm kicking myself that I haven't done any all week.
I kind of like Paul Richardson was saying like the other day that he's lost his painting mojo. It's like I feel exactly the same. I don't know whether it's because I painted so much during lockdown, but
Yeah, I think everyone had this amazing lockdown experience where they
yeah,
just went
cracked
hell
on
for leather, and then it's kind of finished, hasn't it? It's dried up a bit. Everyone's just
back to reality of working.
yeah.
Oh, I just had a ping on Discord. Where was it? It's gone. The ping's gone. I don't know. Yeah, I've done so much during lockdown. I think I went from like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sit there and count what I spent during lockdown and what I painted, but it's a silly amount. I
It
think,
was it was really good though, wasn't it? It's been a brilliant in that sense. I mean,
I mean, so many like companies have just completely. I think GW have done insanely well during lockdown, from what I've heard. Like, fair enough to them. It's got also like I think Victrix have done really well. Maybe that was from certain rule sets, but the miniatures industry in general just exploded from everyone being sat at home bored with a bit more cash in their pockets.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think I said last week, Aventine had to take like their whole. I think that was infamy, and maybe it's COVID related. But had to
Not a bad place to be
take
in.
their whole Imperial Romans off
Mm.
just because they're burning through the mold too quickly.
That is crazy. At least it's kind of guaranteed that miniatures are going to hang around for a while. A lot of the companies.
Yeah. I
And
don't think I've heard any bad stories. Have you? With like miniature companies? I don't
no,
think so.
no, not really. I'm hoping it's kind of going to give that cash injection for a few companies to kind of push a few more ranges.
Yeah.
Like I'm hoping Victrix are going to use the cash to maybe push a few more sculpts. Yeah.
I love their Dacians. Their new
They
Dacians looked amazing.
they look really good. I don't know anything about Dacians.
No, I don't either.
Apart from they fought the Romans, because they would have been early Imperial Romans, I think. Well, during the Imperial Roman era, or late Imperial, late early. I don't know. So I know like the Imperial Roman kit I got, it's got two different type of helmets, and supposedly one helmet was early Imperial Romans, and the second type of helmet was kind of during the Dacian Wars.
And I've seen Aventine have got you can like get different helmets, can't you? In that.
I think the Dacian helmets have like a crossbar over the top or something like that. I don't know. Well, actually, yeah, I used them on my legionaries because I didn't actually know there was a difference until after I built them and then realised there was two different helmet options. Millers is here.
Here he is.
Don't worry, we haven't been upset with your late arrival. Cavalry's arrived, he said. Oh, I thought he... For a second there, I thought he'd bought some cavalry and they turned up in the post, but I think he's obviously referring to himself, but fair enough. The cavalry has
Come to
arrived.
save the day.
Yeah. It's always hard to find like a good day for streaming. Like Mondays are pretty much a write off because of Dom and everyone.
Yeah, they've got that sewing up, haven't they? On Monday.
Which is fine. I always thought like weekends, but I guess people just want to do other things with their weekends or weekend nights rather than sit in front of their computer watching YouTube. That tends to be my prime time for vegging out and watching YouTube. Apparently not for everyone else. Fashionably late, Millers. Get a bit of a habit now. Bad habit.
Come on, Miller. I want some questions, mate. I want some. If you could go back to,
Unanswerable questions.
Yeah.
Something that's going to give us a good old head scratch for 20 minutes. That would be brilliant. I'm just trying to base coat. I'm going to batch paint all my Roman auxiliaries in one go, I think.
How many have you got?
27. Yeah, 27.
Nice.
It's going to be a big old plaster, but I'm going to have to rip it off. And I'll just have to go with it. Pretty painful thing they do. I don't mind.
Is it for infantry that you're doing it for or not?
Yeah, infamy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think I do like the miniatures anyway, but yeah, it's kind of mainly infamy. Just poop and then drop the base back to it. What are we up to tonight then? So I am painting my Roman auxiliaries. Phil will tell you what he's doing.
Napoleonic French, and I think we've both been slacking this week on the painting, so it's nice to.
Safe to say. I seem to be a question master on any stream I go to at the moment.
Yeah.
But they resent and Miller's turning up on their streams. Oh, Miller's is here. He's about to ask a question. Here we go, boys. Strap in. What's the meaning of everything in life? Did you guys answer the question I asked the other night on Don's stream about the battles in history? I think you actually mentioned it on our stream first before. Yeah, Don got his answer on the question. It was it playing extra? 42. Miller said the answer to everything is 42.
Yeah.
Obviously. Obviously. Yeah, was that the question about being an extra in any film? If not, then I don't know what question mark.
There was two, wasn't there? There was that one, and there was the if you could be a spectator at any battle in history.
I didn't hear that one. I normally miss quite a chunk of the Plastic Crack podcast. So I probably missed that one.
I always turn up late as well, to be honest, on that one.
Yeah. So, if I could spectate any battle, I don't think there's many battles that tickle my fancy really. I mean there is, but I've got to think about it without going with the obvious ones.
I mean, I would say all of them, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they've all got something going on, haven't they? There's always so many unknowns. You know.
I really like the stories of like American Civil War, like the Battle of Bull Run or Manassas, first Manassas. I'm pretty sure like civilians kind of took their picnic down and camped up on the hillside and watched the battle. Yeah, it was really weird. Good old
Spectator sport.
Yeah, good old Americans.
Yeah, did they have a corn dog and
Big foam finger. But yeah, I kind of found that quite interesting. I think, yeah. So if you could watch any battle from history, which would it be and why? Right. Let me have a think now. I think I'm going to pick a battle that I would like to see purely to see what actually happened. I think the Battle of Marathon maybe would be quite an interesting one.
that's the is that the Greeks and the Persians and they ran all the way there?
I think that's. I think.
Something
Oh
like
no.
that. Anyway,
Yeah. So no, I was thinking of Thermopylae.
Thermopylae.
That's it.
Mm. That's
Yeah.
is that the 300
That's it.
crew.
Yeah. Because it'd be interesting to see kind of actually, because obviously they're kind of obviously the film is a bit dramatic, but I can't remember what the actual numbers were. I think it was like 300 Spartans supposedly and a few Greeks, and then against however many Persians. It'd be quite interesting to see how badass the Spartans were being, or were they quite average? Disprove their heroics. Obviously, it would have to be bad as people who over here, like Agincourt and the Bowman.
Yeah.
So it's Minas.
That's it. It's just there's so many battles where like the history's just missing or somebody there's like why did they do that or why did you know
So I quite like about again to mention the American Civil War, but it's the kind of the history's written by the victors, but like in the American Civil War, the history was written by the Confederates. Like a lot of the Union stuff they weren't really interested in that sort of side of it. And
right?
that's quite an interesting thing. Like the early Civil War kind of accounts were mainly Confederate. Obviously, then I think it kind of changes the view on the war as well, up until recently, because you kind of got the Union were really bad during the American Civil War, and it's like yeah, that's because the Confederate states or Confederates were the ones kind of accounting for the war.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, supposedly like a lot of kind of recent, like after the war. My mic is quite quiet. Says Miller's. Oh, I can't do anything about that. Maybe put it closer to my face. That's better. I can do something about my mic, but I don't know how. If I shout, maybe. Or is everyone just thinking that Phil's talking on his own? He's got no one else.
Yeah, yeah.
Phil, you talk to. Yeah, I don't know. I think Thermopylae would be quite a cool one. Purely because I guess maybe any battle with quite well-known heroics would be interesting because you could actually see how true they were. A bit like I guess you could say like Rorke's Drift and stuff. Be interesting to see how.
Yeah, Rorke's Drift's a good one. That would be interesting.
Because obviously got like I guess we can't go too much off the film, but you kind of got like the native contingent, and supposedly they actually stood and fought for quite a few hours, whereas in the film they kind of run off at the start. Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting, that sort of stuff. See how actual battle, actual battle was fought out, rather than what few accounts we actually have of it. also it's just quite interesting odds. Like got quite a few British people, a few British troops, and managed to fight off a Zulu impy or whatever they call them.
Have you ever done any models for that? Any
Anglo Zulu.
orchestrate? Yeah, colonial stuff.
Yeah, so I have got some 28mm Perrys. But to be honest, I was thinking quite a while ago I might recreate a Rorke's Drift garrison, but probably not 28mm. I might go smaller, just so I can actually do. Because it's what is it like 120 men, 140 men?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean I could do it 20mm, 20mm. I guess it'd be just quite nice to kind of do an exact one-to-one sort of army ratio and have all the characters and
Did
stuff
you
like
see Little Wars did the Battle of Isluanda?
that. Yeah, that was 6mm, wasn't it?
Yeah,
What you're
yeah.
thinking that? Yeah. Yeah, I did watch that. That was quite good. All right, so what's the best figure you guys have done and the most fun doing, or nicest sculpts from Millers? So, what is the nicest, the best figure you guys have done and the most fun doing, or had the most fun doing? Sorry, or the nicest sculpt? Hmm. I never think. I think that is a tough one.
Have we not got some easy questions?
Yeah. What's your favourite?
Yeah.
Um, what's my favourite? Hmm. I won't say what's my favourite because I couldn't tell you honestly. I think that's easier to say what's your favourite manufacturer because, like, saying that I couldn't even answer that. I don't think. What's my most fun? I think I'd say one of my most fun ones is my Republican Romans, just because, like, with that, they were a nice sculpt, and I got so many done. It's quite nice having them all laid up, I guess, like ranked up. I don't know.
I think recently for me, the chariots I did for my ancient Britons, the
Nice.
Crusader ones, I really enjoyed. Ah, I don't know if I was fairly sick of painting checkered cloth and that, but I just they came out really nice, I think, in the end. So that's probably one of the things I've enjoyed recently that I've painted.
I quite liked the. They were kind. I think it's. I yeah. I think it's fair to say that it's kind of the first metals I really got involved with. But the Perry's ACW characters. Um, I just thought they were really nice. Just I guess Perry's being Perry's, just having really nice sculpts. So it's not really. I guess it's not their ACW figures. I'm impressed with just the Perry sculpts in general. But yeah, I really
I've
liked.
still I've never painted a Perry figure before.
Yeah, so I got a load of their plastic kits and yeah, some of their metal stuff. So I think that ACW range that I've bought, I've enjoyed building and painting all of my ACW from Perry's. I can't knock it at all. I think it's some really nice sculpts. They just got nice character, they're nice scale to them, nice bit of character, and they got a good range as well, Perry's. So yeah, I would say most fun has been Perry's ACW purely because of the like you can get anything ACW they do it. Like Republican Romans have been really fun, but I'm kind of limited to Victrix plastic kits on what I've done. So yeah, if I could answer it, that's what I'd say.
I know you said earlier that you're enjoying like building kits maybe more than
Yeah,
painting recently, but I've gone like the other way. I'm absolutely sick to death. I have been of building stuff, so I've gone full metal recently, and just all my Romans are Aventine, all my ancient Britons are from Crusader, and I've just like shunned plastic recently.
Is quick question. Is Aventine metal then?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I wasn't
yeah.
just because with the pictures they look grey. I wasn't sure if it's like a resin or something.
No, they're all metal.
Okay.
Yeah, cast.
Yeah, I find it. I get what you mean with building plastics. I don't know. I quite like maybe the kits I go for. I quite like kits where you can have a bit of variation, a bit more character. Like I've really enjoyed building the auxiliary Romans because you can kind of change their pose up a bit and make them look a bit more individual.
Yeah,
Um,
that's nice. That is nice.
but yeah, I understand why people don't like building. Like also, like, people don't like painting as well. It's surprising how many people will buy like a second-hand army and just touch it up with their paint, and then that's it. You know. Whereas a lot of us like just cracking on and getting it painted and painting how we want. It's quite surprising how many people just don't like painting. Rather buy a painted army. Millers isn't happy with you, Phil, for
Geez,
tempting them
about
into
18 mil.
tempting them into 18 mil.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to answer the question by saying these 18 mil ABs have been the best sculpts that I've ever seen recently because they it's all the same things you've just said, like the personality and the
Mm,
features and it's all there, and it's like and then to be fair, they're not particularly cheap.
right.
It's pretty much the same price as 28 mil. It's costing us about £25 a battalion.
How many miniatures is that?
30 to 36
Christ, yeah, that is quite expensive.
for yeah, for 20 mil, 18 mil. It's um, but I, I've started. Yeah, I've started with them, and I wouldn't want to buy anything of lesser quality now, and
Mm.
kind of makes me try and paint a little bit better, a bit harder, because I don't want to spend money and not do a good job on them.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that.
Um,
I kind of got that mentality with
but they are fantastic.
the only thing that shies me away with certain scales is kind of who I know I can play with, and like the club I go to, I would say it's pretty much. I don't think I've seen anything but 28 mil played there. Maybe some slightly smaller scales, but yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a valid point. It is a
mm,
valid point, but like I'm the only really historical player in my group anyway. Like actually, I say that there's World War Two gets played, bolt action, chain of
mm,
command. But so and like I said before, I like to paint both sides, so I
yeah.
normally am able to supply
I mean that's fair. Yeah, if
what
you're happy to build both
the
sides,
figures for
then
both armies because I'm the only one doing them most of the time.
yeah, yeah. If you're happy to play both sides, do whatever scale you want, because
Yeah,
you know you're
but
always going to have a game.
I, as much as I'm tempted to do a load of different scales, like I was saying to Miller, like I don't want to. It's nice to have some terrain for everything, and I don't want to have to like diversify too much, and you want to kind of build a collection up, and you can't do that if you're doing 6 mil, 10 mil, 20 mil.
Yeah, the only thing that I've liked about potential 6 mil is like the terrain is pretty basic because like I've seen people do paper houses, like print off an
Mm.
A4 bit of paper and then you fold it up and build a house that way, and trees made out of foam. It's really kind of basic, which is nice with 6 mil. So
Yeah, you can get away with that, can't you?
yeah, exactly. But is when I think I've said before, I've spent money on terrain, and admittedly I've never used it because I don't really game at home. But it's a pain when you want to you spend say for instance you spend 50 quid on an army. It's a good chance you're going to spend 100 quid on terrain. Um,
Yeah,
and
it's not
yeah,
cheap, is it?
no,
And then you've kind of got to put some effort into it as well. You got unless you go full Gucci and buy like the pre-painted stuff and pay a fortune, you're gonna have to do some work with it as well. So
yeah. I mean, I bought some MDF 28 mil kind of World War II Normandy buildings, and then it was just a pain in the ass to paint. and I completely lost. I mean, yeah, in fact, I bought the buildings quite cheap actually. Like, um, yeah, I can't complain at the price of the buildings, but I've never painted them. They're up in my loft now. So I'm thinking about
So
doing painting them.
I got some of the Sarissa stuff, yeah, World War Two Normandy
Yeah,
stuff, and then I was watching Rich Clark from Two Fat Lardies, and he like he's right, like the MDF stuff can look quite blocky and quite,
yeah, I can.
bit flat. So he covers them all in PV, in plaster, and then like
Mm.
paints them up. So I started doing that, and then of course I've now all my buildings are in a half sort of finished state, and they've been like that for a year. Need to get on with that. But I
Yeah,
have enjoyed sort of putting together like terrain from like my Normandy board and stuff like that. So
if I could have a permanent table set up at my house, I probably would invest in it. But I don't have a table. Like I don't have a gaming table at my house, so it's kind of. And also when
yeah,
I go like if I game, I go to a games club, and they've got like I would say
everything you
very
need.
good, yeah, very good terrain. So it's kind of unless I want to sit down and run like a proper campaign for a rule set with my mates and do it as a more casual thing at home, then I don't see the point of building up a terrain table or
Mm.
a gaming table. That's also mean I don't really have space to do it. So. I've
Yeah,
temp-
Miller, you buy a battalion, Miller, and let's
just
see where you go, mate.
just one battalion for now. Yeah, see how you get on with it.
Yeah.
Three or four later, it's gonna, I have a problem. Can't stop buying it. I mean, yeah, the 18 mil looks quite nice, but also, yeah, I guess like you said, the price wise,
Yeah, but
that's
you could
still.
go like there is other manufacturers.
Mm.
You could take it a bit easier.
I think I would look at different scales for more grander battles in the future.
Yeah, at the minute I'm sort of a bit delusional with 28 mil. I see I just don't feel it doesn't feel right anymore. Maybe it's because I'm sort of gravitating towards bigger battles, but I think the smaller scales give you that better sense of.
Yeah, I guess it depends what you're doing. If you wanted to do nice big battles, 28 mil probably isn't your scale, unless you want a 30 by 20 foot table to play
Yeah,
on.
I was looking at some. Yeah, Miller and I have been looking at some doing like maybe it's a World War Three sort of piece, but
Oh, nice.
I was quite keen to have a look at the 6 mil, the heroic and Ross stuff,
What's that then?
because
Sorry.
I just think like Team Yankee when you've got those the 50 mil tanks are amazing. They look so good, but when you see like hundreds of them on a 6x4 table, almost sort of point blank shooting at each other, it just looks a bit weird.
That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I quite like the look of the Victrix game stuff, which is,
Yeah,
you know,
just
the
like 10, 12 mil, isn't it?
12 mil. Yeah, I quite like the look of that. I think I might buy a box just for fun.
I was saying that Miller, I think the 10, 12 mil sort of might be the good in between scale. So it's a bit bigger than 6. You
Mm.
get a bit more detail in it, and then but it's not quite the 15. And I don't know. You're just sort of limited to. There's not quite as many manufacturers doing that at the minute.
Yeah, the Battle of Hastings idea went out the window now. So
Yeah, we had
mm.
we've been looking to do like some sort of little collaboration piece, but I mean, I've spent weeks trying to decide what I wanted to do on myself. So trying to think of what like 2 people or 3 people could do was just.
I
I'm
think we
just.
spoke about it last stream, but like Boots on the Table were kind of joking around doing a Gettysburg battle, and they were like, "Oh yeah, 2 years time we'll do a Gettysburg in 6 mil." I think that'd be quite cool to do like a community challenge where we try give everyone a year and try book a date to go and game it, and set up a big battle or something. I think that'd be pretty cool. It depends what people want to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. Um, yeah, it's hard finding the scale, the theme, who wants to do what. Um, and we all know we've all got a pile of stuff already on the bench, that we really should be getting on with, not starting a new a new bloody project.
I'm sure
I
you're.
mean, I haven't even finished my infamy stuff really. I still
Mm.
got some little pieces to.
What force are you doing again? Is it Romans?
I've done both, yes. I've done Imperial
Oh,
Romans and I've
nice.
done Ancient Britons, so
Nice, nice, nice.
I need another unit or so for both, really, and probably and cavalry for both. I haven't got any cavalry for either of them.
Mm.
I did have a look at the lists. So like I did a base, what I sort of could glean from his videos and stuff like that, and then I thought I'll wait until the book comes out and then I'll sort of
Yeah,
narrow down what I exactly need. But
I want to look at maybe some more like gameplay videos because I want to kind of see what's worth doing and whatnot. Like especially with the range, I want to kind of like, is archers the way forward with the Romans, or is it worth trying Balearic slingers maybe? I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I've obviously got all the rules in there, but I haven't really even looked at it, to be honest.
No, I'm the same. So I bought the rule set and then it's just kind of been sat.
Haven't even opened the tokens or anything, so.
Yeah, it's because I'm trying to paint the tokens up for my sharp practice, and I haven't found an easy way of doing it, so I've kind of left the tokens inconvenient for me for now.
Sharp's practice is something like I really want to play, but I don't want to be. If I'm painting, I know you can do other periods, but like I'd like to do Napoleonics, but then I'm feeling like if I'm painting Napoleonics, I should be painting my 18 mil stuff,
Mm.
not starting a 28 mil Napoleonic force.
Yeah, but you can play sharps at 18, can't you?
Yeah. Just I've got mine all based up for another gaming system, and it's fine. I could just use tokens or dice or something because you're supposed to base them individually, aren't you? And you can remove casualties. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. But
Well, it's a bit like Richard Clark replying to Infamy about like multi-basing. And he said as long as you can keep track of casualties, it don't really matter what you're basing them as. And
yeah,
I guess that's the same
yeah,
true for sharps. As long as you can mark how many people are left in a unit, then it doesn't really matter.
yeah, it's fine. And then I've got my bases of 6, and I think most things in sharp practice are 8s, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, they are. Yeah,
So it's. I mean, I could double up, and yeah, it's just all a bit hack and slash a bit.
yeah. I'm trying to like I kind of based all my stuff individually, which helps kind of slot into different systems. But I'm looking like I've ordered some 8-man bases from Charlie Foxtrot, and I'm looking at maybe getting some 4-man bases. So then I can kind of create larger than 8-man units. So
Yeah,
in Saga, my archers are 12-man units, and at the moment I haven't really got a base for them. But I'm hoping if I buy a load of 4s, then I can use 12-man units or 8-man units or even bigger if I wanted to go bigger. Because I think I've seen like do you play Black Powder?
no, I don't know.
No.
No.
I've seen footage of that where they're in like maybe like people tend to base them on like 4-man per base, and it'd be like
Yeah.
4 of those bases. So effectively, that's like 16-man bases walking around. So yeah, it's kind of trying to figure out how I can kind of make them kind of fit into multiple systems.
I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to Warlord game rule sets. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've
So
got.
we played Bolt Action, and that
Mm,
that got the rest of the gang, my gang, playing historicals. So like I really shouldn't complain at all. But
yeah.
for me, it's like if you could play with that with Space Marines and it wouldn't make any difference.
I didn't mind bolt action. I've only played a couple of games of it, but I didn't mind it. But it was too GW to me. It was kind of
Yeah,
like, um, yeah,
and
I like the random activation sort of, but I
I
think
do. Yeah, I do quite like that.
Two Fat Lardies does it a lot better.
Yeah, I just think there's and I think that's what everyone says. It's like a toolbox, isn't it? I think black powder and what's the ancients one called? But they're a toolbox, and you can they get people into the period as well,
Yeah,
which is great. But I like a bit more. Um, I don't know.
yeah, I think yeah, I agree. I think they're quite almost shallow a rule set.
Yeah,
You know, they're good just to get miniatures on the table and throw dice, but there's not a lot else to it. Um,
Miller's asking about Victory at Sea. Don't get me started on that, mate.
is that World War Two?
That's that naval game that Warlord have just brought out.
Mm. I really like the look of Age of Sail stuff. I think I might, in fact, either this month or next month buy a box set. 'Cause it's kind of been on my list of things to buy for
Yeah,
Christmas.
I've got half the Black Seas starter set.
Yeah,
Uh, well, Warlord. You know, like I shouldn't be snobby about Warlord because they do so much to bring sort of historical to the masses.
yeah.
Um, but I fully intend not to play Black Seas with the Black Seas rule set.
What was it you got? Is it Oak and Iron? Is another rule set?
Yeah, there's Oak and Iron. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's loads of Age of Sail stuff you can do. The Victory at Sea stuff. So I think it's based off an existing rule set, which is fine. I think it's a quick play, that's okay. But I just can't. I don't like the bases that the ships are on. I think they look weird,
No, they look
and the
ugly as
scale's
hell.
too big.
Yeah. I
So I all my naval stuff's 1/3000 scale, and I think I've got a YouTube video where I have a rant about this. The scale's too big, and it's going back to the 28 mil, 6 mil sort of thing. Like
mm,
these ships can fire like
yeah.
13 miles, like they're sort of almost bending the curvature of the earth, and yet you've got like these huge ships on a 6x4 table firing at each other. Like it just
Well, it's a similar argument for Rangers and bolt action. Like you got a submachine gun that can shoot 12 inches, which in 28 mil scale is like I can't even think like 30 foot
yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
You know,
ridiculous.
and then you think a submachine gun's not shooting barely 30 foot. You know, and that's why I quite like. I think it's I played Chain of Command by Two Fat Lardies, and there is no ranges. Like it's assumed that every gun can shoot the length of the table. Because
Yeah,
even a pistol at 30 foot is going to be effective, which is 20 inch or 12 inch or whatever, and even longer. You know, so it's kind of which yeah I think I agree with. But it goes back to like the 40k style of play, where it's like a bolt gun can only shoot whatever, and you think there's just like a gun in the 40th millennium, whatever, and it can only shoot like 40 foot effectively. Like, that's just ridiculous, you know. But obviously, it's a rule. It takes the rules. You know, the rules are higher than the actual logic. Um, and yeah, it's similar with like bolt action. It's kind of like yeah, if you're on a 6x4 table, like a standard rifleman squad won't range won't be an issue on a 6x4
yeah.
table, and yet they include it. And you think, but then I guess it's also some like, do you watch Mel, the terrain shooter? Do you ever watch his?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen some of Mel's stuff. Yeah, yeah,
So I'm pretty sure, like, this is probably going back a year or so. He did a video about scales and like stuff like that, and it was quite an interesting video, and it kind of combats what I've just said. But it's saying how the reason why there's ranges on guns is because it's not you're not taking that as a literal thing. It's you are scaling everything down, and a bit like for instance 28 mil MDF buildings, they are tiny. They're not some massive building because you have to scale everything down for 28 mil or for
mm.
tabletop gaming. So yeah, you kind of it does make a bit of sense what he says. I thought it was a good video.
It's all a compromise.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, maybe some rule systems like the fact that you've got range, but it also, if you want range factored into your rule set, you would probably have a 15 mil, not aim it at 15 mil or 6 mil or something like that. You know, you wouldn't have 28 mil miniatures.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I know rule set writing, man, so I can't really comment. People buy it, people play it, so fair enough.
It's just what you want out of the game, isn't it? Really,
Yeah,
that's what
that's,
it comes down to.
again, me bashing GW, but it goes to those GW players that just want to sit down, roll dice, and win games. And you know, if they want to play that competitive style, then ranges does matter. You know, it's that, especially when a game's quite shallow in itself. You need that sort of element to the game. You know, if you played 40k, where range wasn't an issue, it would literally just be rolling dice every turn. There would be no need to measure anything. You know, because 40k has
Yeah.
no other element to the game apart. Well, I guess it does actually. It's unfair to say it doesn't, but there isn't much else to that game. So yeah, it would literally be like, oh, I'm going to shoot him now. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll wait. Line of sight doesn't really matter because every weapon in 40k ignores it. So why is it ever a feature? I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. That's GW bashing. Stopped for a minute.
Uh,
I'm going to
no,
chill.
I'm all for that, to be honest. But
Yeah.
my group are trying to get me into ninth. You know, every release they go, oh, it's changed, it's balanced, like they've made a real effort this time, and I think, yeah, I don't think so.
Made an effort to sell more miniatures. Yeah. Saying that though, I have heard slight good things about Ninth, so fair enough. Like my mate's
Mm.
really into it, and he's got another group of mates, and they all play 40k and they love it. And it's quite funny. Like on my group chat with my mate and a few of my historical mates, like we just slag off 40k and just bully him for it. And then he goes to his 40k mates, and they all slag off historicals and bully him for it. So he's never kind of he's just floating in the middle of everyone hating what he's collecting, which is quite funny. Oh, British Legion's here. Hey, mate. Thank you for joining.
Evening, Nick. Buddy.
Yeah, evening. Yeah, I think ranges, going back to our original thing, yeah, range kind of has to be in games, I guess, because they need
It's
some sort of.
it's a balancing factor, isn't it? It's for certain rule
Yeah, I
sets.
think it's what they call friction, isn't it? You've got to add something to the game to make you think and react, which I think what Two Fat Lardies does well. They add lots of ways of adding this friction to games where you've constantly got to be like, right, I can't have a battle plan from turn one because it's going to change 10 times before I get to the end of the game. So you constantly got to think, right now, what do I do? How do I react to this? And people don't like it, but I do. I always just end up going back to this rant because I don't know why. That's all I've got to talk about. I hate boring games and I love Two Fat Lardies. That's the basics. That's the basis of my argument.
They've got an Age of Sail game. It's a bit old now, I think. I think it's
Kiss
called
Me
Kiss Me
Hardy.
Hardy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah. So
I did see on the forum that they were gonna have a look at doing a second version of it because it is quite
oh,
old, I
nice.
think.
Yeah, they've surprisingly got a hell of a lot of rule sets. Well, for instance, Nick sent me he just sent me this World War One rule set, which I got, which is actually still here because I'm currently reading it. Which is really cool. Yeah, they've got so many systems I just didn't know about. But yeah, I've seen Kiss Me Hardy played a few times at the club. I don't know if has it got kind of a rule, has it got a scale assigned to it, or is it kind of do what you want? So
I don't know. I haven't.
I've seen it played on a smaller scale. I don't know what's like. I don't know boat scales at all, but it wasn't the kind of Age of Sail stuff that Warlord are currently doing. It was a lot smaller than that. But yeah, I saw that played.
Well,
It was good,
of course, because and this grinds my gears every time is they choose a scale that isn't a sort of
yeah.
what's the word, an established scale, so that you buy their own stuff,
Is
which
it
is
700th scale?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the problem with
But
Warlord
and
is
Oak and Iron is 1/600, I think. They're
Okay.
slightly different, and then like yeah, I think 1/1200's like the usual sort of go-to or the traditional scale. So yeah, you can't blame them, but
I think the main problem with Warlord is they make very nice miniatures, so they get away with it.
well that's it. And they like we're saying they bring in historical to the masses, so we can't
They're,
I
they're
can't
like a
argue.
they're like a gateway to
Yeah, yeah,
historics, aren't they? Which I mean, I'm looking at a few metal Warlord stuff for my Romans, and they do nice miniatures. I've kind of said
yeah,
like Warlord are kind of on the same bracket as GW when it comes to pricing. They start to realise they can charge more, so they do, and it's frustrating. You think, yeah, you make nice stuff, but like a lot of people don't like GW for what they do, so don't fall into that same category.
yeah. You're paying for what the model can do on the game rather than
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Warlord's not that bad yet, but like their plastic kits, I think are quite, especially when you compare them to like Perry's. I think Perry's plastic kits are as good as Warlord, in my personal opinion, and yet half the price. And you think, I, yeah, why have Perry's kept it so cheap and yet Warlord don't? Is that? Yeah, I just don't know. I guess that's something we'll ask the head honchos.
yeah. It's probably because Perry's, for as big as they are probably still niche compared to Warlord.
Yeah,
I
I
would
don't know.
I would
Yeah,
say I would say like Warlord is the GW of historical. They are enticing the public in. I would maybe think that Perry's are still.
but then I'd also like, yeah, I agree. But then also, like, Perry's are the only one who make plastic American Civil War kits.
Hmm.
So why aren't they charging more if no one else makes it? You know, if they've got a bit of a monopoly on the plastic kit, you know.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
Perry's just seem to do nice pricing. They just seem to price for the wargamer rather than for making
Well,
money.
well, that's it. And are they maybe pricing because they haven't got a rule set to push miniatures? They just make the miniatures.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
I don't know if that has an effect.
I don't know. Maybe they just have a. I think maybe they just have a bit more of a friendly mentality. Where Warlord is very much like you can tell with like the Perry's website. The Perry's website isn't a super easy thing to use. Whereas Warlord, you can click on their website and within 2 clicks you've got something in your basket and you're paying for it. You know, they've got a very. It's the same as GW. GW's have got a very friendly website because they want to sell miniatures. That's their main thing. They want to make money. Whereas I think maybe Perry's are a bit more.
In it for the love of it.
Yeah, exactly. I like to think that anyway. I don't know. Oh, we've been going an hour and 20 already. Flipping out. Fair enough.
It's going all right.
I'm still yet to hear from Stug, so maybe he's just gone underground for a few days.
He's not lost in the wilderness, is he?
He might do. Yeah, he's gone for another ramble. I'm ashamed to admit I haven't seen his last woods walk. I wanted to when he did his first video walking around the woods. I could do a reply to it and just go to some like woodland near my house and just ramble for a few minutes. But yeah, funny. Yeah, I haven't seen his latest video. I probably will. Millers, you get the feeling that the Perrys are just nice guys wanting to have some nice figures, whereas Warlord is a big company that's always pushing something new. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're right, Millers. I think maybe Perrys don't have the pressure of having to release new kits all the time. I think they plod along doing what they're doing. Whereas a bit Warlord, I guess, is a bit like GW, where they have the pressure of like, we've got to release new stuff. We need to stay relevant. We need to stay the big dogs, you know. Because I'd say Warlord. Is it fair to say Warlord's the bigger or the biggest historical producer?
I would say they've got to be, haven't they?
Yeah.
Surely, no,
And
nobody else has the range and the.
I guess if they're top dog, they want to stay top dog. So they've kind of got that pressure of like, we have rule sets out, so we need to keep everyone happy. We've got big big fan base. We need to keep everyone happy. So yeah, maybe that's it. Like Perry's just don't have any pressure. They just do what they want when they want. Whereas probably also I imagine maybe Warlord have so many ranges going at once. Like they just got a lot of work to do. If they've got historics, World War Two,
We've
am I
got
right?
sci-fi as well, haven't we?
Yeah, is that Gates of Antares or is that someone
That's
completely?
it. Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
that's
is it?
it.
Yeah.
No,
So they've got. I don't know about the sci-fi side. I've never really seen much about that. But yeah, if they've got like quite a lot going on, then maybe they've had the pressure of like not letting certain periods or armies or stuff just die of old age. You know, if they've got constantly, you know, oh, we've got to give our Napoleonic French some love this month, and then we got to jump to our ancient Britons and update their miniatures, and then you know back to so and so. It's probably not an easy thing to do. Bless them, but they make money. So
they're pushing their fantasy as well, haven't they? They've just obviously moved into the fantasy with that Warlords of Erewhon or whatever it's
Aero
called.
one, yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah, and the Judge Dredd and 3000 AD stuff. What's that then, Willis? Oh, is that Warlord doing the Judge? Yeah, the Judge. Actually, yeah, I've seen some Judge Dredd stuff. It's quite cool.
I
Yeah,
quite like to get the Dread stuff. I used to read 2000 AD. Like I quite like that. I think it's is it just like a board game though with miniatures? It's I don't know. I don't
don't
know.
know.
I've never looked at it really.
No, I don't know to be honest. But yeah, like then branching out into fantasy as well is quite interesting because all of a sudden by branching out into kind of more classical his fantasy, then potentially going to toe to toe with GW. So
Yeah, I haven't looked at the fantasy, but I also kind of felt that with the Gates of Antares, like that must be a tough gig to get into, like the
yeah,
sci to try and break into the sci-fi market.
unless you've
Feel
got a really interesting or different rule set, like a bit like Infinity, they've gone for a complete like they've
yeah,
gone for it's all about line of sight blocking and kind of you know that sort of stuff. Whereas 40k is a very bland rule set, should I say? Yeah, I think unless if you wanted to go, I'm going to make a sci-fi rule set where you throw dice at each other for a game, then you're probably going to struggle. But if you kind of have a quirky rule set, then
I don't know anyone who's done Antares and that. I bet Nick's probably done it. He does everything, doesn't he?
he's complimenting my corn on the cob fork I've got in my hand. That's because it's got a fine point and I use it for pinprick and stuff. Um, uh, yeah, Nick, do you have Gates and Terry's? Probably. Yeah, I haven't actually looked into it, to be honest. Am I going to have to just open up a... Let's go to Warlord. Yeah, it'd be interesting because I feel like their naval stuff has got a lot of love at the moment. I feel like last year or so it was a lot of World War Two, and now, is it Strontium Dog? Is that the Judge Dredd, or is that a different thing altogether?
Strontium Dogs from 2000 AD. It's the same comic, but I don't.
Yeah,
Is it a different game? I think it might be a
I think
different
it
game.
is. Let's check out Judge Dredd. Why not? Funny enough, I was watching a video the other day about the recent Judge Dredd film, talking how interesting it was. Oh, I can't alter that.
I quite liked that film. I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
good.
It's I don't know if you.
Better than the Stallone version.
Yeah, I don't. I kind of like the Stallone version, but for different reasons.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but no, I watched that. There's a YouTube channel called Film Comics Explained. I don't know if you've subbed to it.
No, I don't think so.
He basically like he'll pick a film every week or so, and he just kind of goes into kind of breaking it down. Anyway, he did a video on Judge Dredd, and he kind of broke down how they introduce you to Dredd without literally having the whole "oh, you must be Judge Dredd" kind of character who kind of explains to the like most films
Yeah,
these days,
yeah.
rather than explaining a character, they just have some random person blatantly obviously tell the audience who it is. but they were kind of saying how they tell you who Judge Dredd is through his actions and his, and it's quite interesting how it wasn't the classic kind of stupid way to explain a character, but an actual creative.
I think that whole film was quite kind and good to the fans. I
Yeah,
think the fans were
I
quite.
really liked the film. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But also, it felt like they just branched out into this slow mo cinematography, so therefore they're going to use it in every scene. That's what I thought funny. He's like, okay, so you've clearly just bought this new camera that can go super slow mo, so then you've designed a whole film around it. But no, fair enough. Yeah, Miller's Descent,
Uh,
SPQR had a lot of love from.
yeah, you see, that's the other thing. Like, Warlord are just pumping out games
Mm,
and rule sets, and like, do they get any love after the initial release? Like, what happened to Cruel Seas?
yeah, that's
Is
true.
that
Yeah,
still going?
but Cruel Seas has just been superseded by Victory at Sea, surely, or is it a different scale?
Yeah, it's different stuff. So Cruel Seas is torpedo boat actions, so just little
Little
Vospers and
skirmishes. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I was about to say something. Who said that? I can't remember now. But yeah, also for like SPQR, I know that's very. I guess that's the same as kind of small skirmish games. But then you've got like Hell Caesar. Well, I guess it's a big field battle, isn't it? Yeah, I guess. I
Yeah, I
don't
think SPQR was supposed to be kind of like skirmish infamy sort of type, but
know.
didn't they use a new resin, which is never a good sign.
I don't know.
Sure they had issues with that, or aren't their figures grossly out of scale? I think somebody put them up against a Victrix and they're massive. I
Vic-
don't know.
Victrix is. I always use Victrix as kind of my comparison, but then Victrix has got an odd scale. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
think
It's a
they're
bit weird.
quite large. Well, I think they're generally larger than.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, Miller's is saying Warlord resin. Let's see what I imagine is
Yeah,
about to slam it. I know
it's probably garbage.
NI Miniatures. Is it NI? Yeah, it is NI Miniatures. Yeah, he was mentioning about their Spanish stuff, their resin, black powder Spanish being atrocious. Quite a few people have. Yeah, so Miller's just said about the Warlord Imperial Romans. They're embarrassingly small. It's unbelievable how small they are. I
Yeah, that's
couldn't.
what
Yeah.
that pushed me on to Aventine because a friend gave me a
Mm,
box of the Imperial Romans, and I was like, are these dwarfs?
yeah.
What are these?
Well, it's kind of put
Absolutely.
me off buying any Warlord Romans because I'm pretty sure compared to the Victrix, they are tiny. I think the metals might be okay, the metal sculpts from Warlords, but
I think the auxiliaries are all right as well.
yeah, they don't
I
seem
seem
as
to remember
bad.
the auxiliaries aren't too bad, but
Mm.
it's I think because didn't Warlord buy initially a load of like molds from people? I think that's how they got themselves like kickstarted.
Well, they obviously they bought. Is it? Trying to think who they bought out. I can't remember now. But like Warlords of Aragon, that was they bought out someone. Warlord Game
Yeah,
Runners are small. Yeah, Nick's saying they're small as well. It's a shame though because I don't like the poses of the Warlord Romans either. They've all got really weird poses. I don't know.
yeah, they're basically just not a patch on the Victrix one, are they?
No. But Victrix do what Victrix does. What they do well is just kind of making that big pack of big, decent sprue that you can kind of mess around with. Whereas what like Warlord does well, they've got all these metal miniatures, all these special characters and stuff that look really cool. Whereas obviously Victrix don't have that. They're Gauls slash Britons slash Germanic tribes. All the sculpts are not that bad though for the scale. None of them stands up straight to compare. Yeah, I've noticed that. Like the yeah the kind of Gaelic dudes, they're all kind of like lunging forward, almost like they're about to fall over. It's weird. Really weird sculpt choices. Very weird. It's a shame, really.
Test of Honors. That's the is that the samurai stuff?
Yeah, I was looking at getting the Test of Honor stuff. and then it just disappeared. They've stopped supporting it, haven't they? Which is a shame, really, because the stuff looks incredible. I can't even find it. What's it going to be under? It's not black.
And you think, that's maybe is a little bit more unique than, there's not that many sort of samurai. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
there is. I haven't really looked. I know there's a few, but
Well, me and my mate was so close to getting some like
it's
the
a bit more unique than a
Ashigaru
lot of other
boxes.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I know Perry's like metal's Japanese, I believe. But no, it's like a plastic Japanese set. It looked really cool. Like I didn't. I looked at some games of the. Yeah, I watched some kind of playthroughs of the game, and I wasn't that hooked on it. But the miniatures themselves looked awesome.
What's the skirmish one as well that Nick and Nat do? Bushido, is it? I think it's
Bushido.
Bushido.
Is that by Warlord? Is it?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
no.
No.
But they're expensive, I think. They're definitely Gucci models. I'm sure they're.
Hmm.
I
That's it.
suppose it's that comes down to you only need 3 or 4, or a
Yeah.
handful to play a game. So
I say if you need 6 miniatures to play a game of like an hour and a half, then you're probably more willing to spend like £10 a miniature or something.
yeah, yeah,
Warlords
they're
of
about
Rome.
8. What's that?
Millers is saying that the samurai are now under Warlords of Aeon.
Yeah, yeah. They've got the molds. They probably don't want to waste them, but
Yeah.
it seems a bit weird having them in a fantasy setting.
But I remember they looked really cool. The box, like the sets. I almost bought some. I was also really wanting to buy some. I quite like the ancient. Well, I'd say the ancient, like I guess medieval Japan. That's really cool.
Yeah, the Bushido stuff's good, but yeah, it's about £8 a mini, which is madness, really, for a 28 mil figure or 30 mil figure.
But then, well, like Nick just said in chat, it's, what, 6 aside, so 6 figures aside. I mean,
Yeah.
let's go extreme and compare it to a 40k army, where you're probably spending like
Well, yeah.
yeah, when you're probably spending like £400 per army. Then yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind spending £60 on a 6-man team. Right, I'm gonna stop looking on. All I've done is base some silver on my auxiliary. Been chatting too
Well, I'm gonna pop away for 2 minutes, so
much. Okay.
be right back.
Righto. Ooh. I'm feeling tired. I don't suppose anyone watched the rugby tonight. Is anyone into rugby? Into the rugby? It's hard to tell everyone. I'm pretty sure Gary is, Wargamer Gary, because I saw him in a Harlequins top. There's a bird, what's that? There's a bird tram in the, they're called the Descendants or something, but they look really nearly got some every week. What's that? Where's that, Millers? Is that Bushido or something? Mm. I'll tell you what looks nice, which I've almost got, is some Frostgrave. Oh, Blood Red Skies, nice. Oh, it is for Bushido. Cheers, Willis. Blood Red Skies is pretty cool. So, I mechanic. I know Little Wars TV. I don't think it was Blood Red Skies actually, but Little Wars TV did an aerial like skirmish game. It's really. I think it's a Battle of Britain they did. It's really cool. Yeah, I'd quite like the idea of doing Blood Red Skies. That would be quite interesting. I assume Blood Red Skies World War One. Well, oh no, it's not, is it? It's not, is it? No, no, it's not. Right. I think World War One would be quite cool to do. Yeah. So in fact, Little Wars TV did World War One aerial dogfight game. Right, I'm gonna have to actually get on and do something. Otherwise, yeah, World War Two dogfighting. Yeah, yeah, I thought it was. I don't know why I thought it was World War One. Get some blacks. Yeah. To be honest, I was saying earlier, Nick, that I'm thinking maybe the end of this month is ordering some Black Seas stuff. I think originally I was going to get an American fleet, but I'm going to have to go. Going to have to go the British Navy, the Royal British Navy, and I might base it as a Caribbean fleet in the old Caribbean. Me and my mates, we were kind of toying up what armies to go for, what fleets to go for. Like my one mate was, I really want to do Royal Navy, and I thought, I don't want to kind of repeat that. I don't want to have two of the Royal Navy kicking around, so I was going to go with the Americans, but no, I think I'm going to go British. Who else would you really go for on it? There's no other choice. British or nothing. Too right, mate, yeah.
I'm doing French for Black Seas. I'm gonna do the French.
Oh, nice, yeah. So I think one mate's doing Spanish. I think. I say one mate's doing, like no one's doing it yet, but I think if I were to buy a box set, then that would kick them off and they'd do it. I was going to get the is it the Briggs and It's not Flotilla, is it? It might be. I can't remember now. Like the small boat box set from World, where you get like 5 small boats, I think it was. I was going to get that to start with, just so I can kind of see what it's about and have a bit of fun painting some boats before I invest in kind of frigates and whatnot. How do you get them with the intention of doing?
Depends what you want to do. Like you say, it's a good way of maybe getting your feet wet, but from a historical standpoint, like Briggs and that they didn't really fight much. It's all about ships of the line. It's all about the third, second, and first rate ships. So,
I mean, I guess what was it like? Is it 20 quid or 30 quid for the 3 frigates? Like the smaller.
Yeah, they're quite expensive.
Yeah, I guess it's not horrendously priced. That's the thing.
Again, you probably don't need very many, so.
Yeah, I think originally I was looking at getting that kind of the Briggs and flotillas purely for the fact of just having quite a few boats in the box set.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than kind of spending 30 quid on one boat. It's kind of what, I could get quite a few boats and have a bit of fun doing
it. The starter box isn't too bad anyway, though. I think it's only £40, I think.
I might have to save up and look at doing it.
Yeah, like I said, I've got the half. I've got half of the box. I went half as with a mate, but it's just on the backlog with everything else.
Like anything else, it's
yeah.
Quickly get all this done and then hit the sack. But I realise I probably should have been painting rather than talking because I gave myself too much to do now.
Yeah, I've put my paints away. I did get some done. Got some shakos done and some collars.
That's the problem with the Napoleonics. It's just so much to
Mm.
paint. I'll just finish these 4 guys and then we'll call it quits.
Cool.
Chat spoke for quite a while. What's an hour and 40?
It's alright, it's been good.
What else did we do on a Friday? I sat down and watched some rugby and then came on this. And then a couple
Nice.
of beers as well. Just to put off. The Eagle On is my favourite. What's the Eagle On? I need to look at more historical ships. So I really want to. I think I'm going to have to do HMS Surprise from Master and Commander if I can. I don't know what ship she is.
I think she's just a frigate.
Yeah, she's not anything special, is she? I think that's another thing with like that sort of stuff. You can have a bit of fun on actually basing them off historical fleets or ships and stuff.
Mm.
There's plenty of that knowledge dropping around. Would you say you kind of like that side of it, basing an army off something historic, or would you rather just kind of a bit more free reign?
Oh no, I buy books and go to town on research and every little last bit, which is good and bad, I suppose. Like you say, you can't just have a bit of fun with it, can you?
I think I haven't done enough of that, I must admit. Kind of looking back at my ACW now, I'm like, I probably should have a theme to this bunch. So just kind of, there's no real. Probably it will actually sign into some sort of regiment or something like that. Have the flags called to it. Hornblower. Oh, I love Hornblower.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Not enough of it though, because I guess it got pulled mid writing or something like that. Because I think they finished once. I watched it all kind of recently. I think the series finished kind of. It didn't really end. It was almost like it was lined up for another series and then never got it.
They had like the first couple are all in sequence, aren't they? And then they just start jumping sporadically around, and then it just dies.
I think there's a big thing about him getting married and stuff, and then it just never really happens. It felt like
I read all of the Master and Commander series by Patrick O'Brien. That's pretty good.
I love Master and Commander.
You have to be into your sort of naval stuff though to read the books. They're quite
full on,
quite nautical.
I feel like Master Commanders, those sort of films, like the sort of film where I'm like, I really want more. I wish there was more, but then I'm glad they never did another film. It's sort of like the Pirates of the Caribbean effect. Like you love the first film so much, you wanted more, and then they gave you more, and then it just got worse and worse. And worse. And you think, why did I ever wish this? Yeah. I'm kind of glad they left Master and Commander alone at his own film.
Yeah, Admiral was it Admiral Pellew or Captain Pellew or whatever his name is? Robert Lindsay.
Yeah. Hornblower, good old Hornblower. I liked Hornblower. I think it was done sort of well. Like I like the uniforms. I think it was quite well set. You could tell the budget wasn't terrible. So they actually had a good costume department.
I suppose you need less actors as well. I always laugh at Sharp with having battles with 20 guys on each side, sort of thing. Classic.
Good old Sharp. Yeah, I think Hornblower
Yeah,
just ended quite abruptly, which is sad. I feel like maybe they would have had a proper send off if they. To me, it felt like they were like, "Oh, yeah, sorry. Do you remember you were making another series? Well, we've pulled it." And it's like, "Oh, no, we can't really finish the story." There is the Hornblowers are books, isn't it? Am I right in saying that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's C.S. Forrester or whatever he's called.
probably ought to read the books and find out if it was intentional to end like that. Right, I'm going to end it there. I think.
Sounds good.
Quarter to let's get our sleep in before we're woken.
Yeah.
Do you get much of a lie in, or are they bright and early and
They're
vibing?
both up about 7 a.m. So not too
Yeah,
not
that's
too
not
bad. Like you
bad.
say, we normally take it in turns as well. So
Whose turn is it tomorrow?
mine, I think, unfortunately.
Too bad. Well, I won't keep you up then. I'm going to quickly see what Miller said, and then we'll. So first, what Sharps Waterloo? I thought it was good
Yeah.
at that.
It's all of them. You like they have a battle and you think, oh, that's like a little skirmish, and it's like, no, that's the Battle of Vittoria, or that's Waterloo. That's like 70,000 men. That's supposed to be sort
I
of representing.
I need to get Sharps practice because I keep saying Sharps practice. I need to get the box sets for Sharps. I've watched like 3 or 4, a bit out of sequence, and I'm like, I want to start from the start and go through it all.
It is good.
Anyway, I'm not going to keep you, so we'll end it there. Thanks
Yeah.
for Nick and Millers for turning up. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Even though Miller was late. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
unfortunately he let us down again, but he turned up in the end. Yeah, and I still haven't heard from Stug, so I'm not starting the stream at 10:30 because it's 11:15. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. Weird. Just gone off the radar. Right, okay, well, cheers everyone for watching, and cheers Phil for joining me and keeping me company.
Anyway, good to have a chat, mate. Take care.
Yeah.
I'll catch you later.
Yeah,